I love doing these top 5 KL videos because you can do the video 100 times and people will say that you went to the wrong place 100 times. For example, if you claim that for nasi lemak go Village Park, people will say, "Aiya, nobody go Village Park already lah. You should go nasi lemak shop." If you say wanton mee go U Lake, people will say Petaling Street one nicer. They are wrong, but they will say lah. If you say for the best char siu, go Char Siu Yong, people will say nothing. Nobody will say anything. It's true. If you want Claypot Chicken Rice, some will tell you to go 168, others will say Hyongki better. So let's do a side-by-side comparison. I waited for about 1.5 hours at 168, 10 to 15 minutes for Hyongki. The main difference is that at 168, the uncle does all the cooking and the money collection, so there's an obvious bottleneck. At 168, there's a mix of indoor seating and these open-air foldable tables, whereas Hyongki is more comfortable with air conditioning. I have to say, both are proper. Both have real clay pots going under charcoal fire, using the heat-retaining quality to create the crispy rice bottom, or guopa, and the porous material of the clay pot allows it to absorb the smokiness of the charcoal. Pairing that with marinated chicken, lap cheong, dark soya sauce, Shaoxing wine, and a clay pot rice classic, salted fish. I think they are both better than the ones I had in Hong Kong. But comparing between them, I think the ingredients in 168 are more pronounced, especially the salted fish. It gives such an incredible sharpness and umami to the dish. Hyongki does better with the guopa, while 168 has a surprisingly little amount of it, especially when you consider how big the clay pot is. But 168's biggest miss is that I think they gave me the wrong size. No way, this is the 16 ringgit small version. This can fit 2 to 3 people easily. You can put Hyongki's clay pot into this clay pot. I would have double checked with the staff if I had not already waited 1.5 hours. Imagine if I ask and then they go like, "Oh yeah, this is wrong. Let me recook one for you. You wait ah." So verdict, if you can catch 168 in the off-peak, I think the quality is slightly better, but that little difference is definitely not worth giving up the comfort and speed that Hyongki has. Ooh, all warmed up? It's time for the seasonal top 5 foods in KL video. Let's get it guys. Hello everyone, I'm Eldrick, and in this video we will be exploring some of the best eats that Kuala Lumpur has to offer. As usual, we are only doing quintessential Malaysian eats, so if you're looking for your cute little matcha latte, a nice backdrop with Lao Fei playing in the background, don't hold your breath. I did one of these KL videos last year and I had 3 best I ever had. So we'll be starting where we started last year, Sate. Unsurprisingly, after the video went out, people said that I went to the wrong place for satay. That Zaini Satay, the place that I went to, was not the real Zaini Satay, and that the original one has moved or something. They said that I should have gone to one Satay Kajang Samuri for the unique Kajang style satay. There are a few things that differentiate Kajang style from the normal style that I know of. One is that it's supposedly bigger, which kind of half true. It is bigger. I want to say bigger than Singapore, but everything is bigger than Singapore. And 2, they serve sambal with the peanut sauce. So you're supposed to have it together. And then 3, they have different parts. This is very interesting. On top of the usual beef, mutton, chicken, we have one of my favorites, tripe. We also have fish, and they also offer rabbit, although it's sold out today. There's chicken liver and gizzards here, I believe. Let's just try the peanut sauce first. Oh. Very gentle. It tastes like a peanut soup, hua sen tang. The satay sauce in its own is not spicy. Very palatable in fact. You can just eat it as is. And then if you want more of a cake, you add the sambal in. Legit, this one can pass off as a dessert. I will eat this as is. Okay, I don't want to wait anymore. Let me try one piece. I believe this is chicken. How can it be? I waited for 25-30 minutes. How can it be cold? I was initially quite excited because you look at the char marks, right? It looks very promising. But having cold satay is such a downer. You instantly feel your mood go down. Visually it looks so good, but because it's cold, I actually don't taste a lot of the roastiness that you want from a satay. And there's another more suspicious thing. This I have never seen before. Why are all the sticks dirty? I'm talking about the handle part. There's like sauce consistently stained on all of them such that as I pick it up, right, my whole hand is dirty. I don't care so much about the inconvenience, I can just wipe it, but what happened in the handling for the sauce to get everywhere? Like my mind was wondering right now, are they hot swapping the steaks? Is somebody like saucing the satay sticks with their hands and then cooking it on the grill? And then it comes back, why is it cold? How can it be cold? If it's small pieces of meat and their heat capacity is not that high, sure, like in Singapore. But these are huge pieces. It is physically impossible to be cold if you cook it fresh. And then on top of that, I don't think the marinade is done for very long. The meat is still rather tough. I feel so wrong. This is supposed to be good. What happened back there? I saw it on the Google review. The top mentioned term is cold. But I was thinking, won't happen one. Do people sell food insurance? Can I make a claim if the food is not good? Alright, on to the next stop, I guess. Just now when I said people don't argue about the best char siu, I lied. That is unlikely in a city with as much good food as KL. Amongst the many names thrown around, the institution Wong Mei Kee does come up a lot. So, let's run it. The queue from this point took me 1 hour and 40 minutes. But I'm gonna give it to you in 1 minute 40 seconds. I got their siu yok or roasted pork with their roasted chicken because their char siu sold out right in front of me. Classic. Beautiful siu yok, clear separation of layers, nice fresh pork with no stench, biscuit-like crispy skin. But it's marred with saltiness, which can sometimes happen with roasted pork. And they also made a very peculiar decision to add this starchy oyster sauce gravy on top of the pork. They usually serve this with roasted or steamed chicken, so I'm tempted to say that this was an accident. The roasted chicken looks so beautiful, but I think it flew a little too close to the sun. The key skill in cooking chicken like this is controlling the internal temperature so that the meat stays moist and tender, which it was, but in the deeper parts, there was a stench of raw chicken. I had to speed it out. I checked and visually it looked fine, so maybe it's just a lack of seasoning. I think if you are somewhere here in the queue, go for it. But is it better than char siu yong? No shot. Next, we are heading to Meet the Porkers, an Indian restaurant serving pork, breaking the Muslim Indian convention that is very common in this region. The story behind this convention is actually pretty cute. Most of the Indians in this region are of Tamil descent. This means that they are not obligated to abstain from pork, but at the same time, pork is also not a prized ingredient in their cuisine. So when setting up shop here back in the day, they decided to go halal so that everybody can enjoy their food. Meet the Porkers is a reminder to that decision. I got their mango lassi, porkers naan, palak paneer, and siu yok biryani. And what I think is special about Meet the Porkers is that Eldrick, I think you're muted. I can't pretend anymore. I messed up my research this year. I wanted the best food in KL, but all I got so far are some cold satays, long queues, and meat Indian food. You might think it's fine, man, but it's not fine, not in a city like KL, where you can literally eat every meal at Table and Apron and still be happy. So, as some of you may know, I decided to press the panic button. By panic button, I mean the upload IG story button. And you guys came in clutch. I got enough recommendations to fuel my next 5 years in KL. So this is where the real video begins. I can wholeheartedly recommend the next 3 places ranked in order of preference. And at 3rd place, we are starting at Petaling Street Charcoal Hokkien Mee. I don't know where I am, man. I'm just along a street, seemingly the only person eating here, but I don't care. Very interesting dish though. This dish really tests your wok frying skills, and the smell is just crazy. Just now when he just started frying, right, the whole place smelled different. Oh, we also have some zukan eh. Wow, it looks really good. Anyway. Whoa. Wow, finally something good. The base flavor really hits the spot. The difference between this and your usual zi cha KL mee is how far this goes. It is so smoky. You can probably tell from the color, whereas the normal zi cha version is like brown. And because of how dark it is, I'm not sure how much you all can see, but in the noodles, there's a considerable amount of crispy lard. that disguises itself very well. It keeps adding pops of flavor. And then you also have crunchy prawns, slices of meat, and this I really love. Pork liver. That heavy iron taste just goes so well in a dish where the flavor profile is so punchy. And out of nowhere, the chili is very high quality. It really took me by surprise. The amount of belacan in this chili is reminding me of Peranakan cuisine. And I think they sneaked in like a squeeze of lime. Really, really nice. Wow, it feels so good to eat something good, man. I had my doubts because this place looks unassuming to say the least. But I guess that's where you have the best food when you're traveling, right? Alright, on to our next stop. Quick note, the uncle told me that he'll be moving soon, but have not decided where yet. He'll update on Google Maps, so hopefully the link in the video description reflects it correctly. Next, we are moving on to Jalan Alor, the all the Malaysians watching this face palm for a moment. It's actually impressive that I literally received hundreds of recommendations, but not a single one said Jalan Alor, the supposed food street of KL. So I decided to go take a walk. What I found was a ton of tourists. Actually, even the staff don't look local. You get a menu shoved in your face literally every 10 steps. What's interesting is that if you go on social media, almost all of the videos on Jalan Alor are made by foreigners. So unless you want to hear me say, "Come with me," okay, I'm having too much fun with this. No, stop. We are taking a short walk from Jalan Alor over to what's the saying? If you want to broaden your culinary perspective, you need to go overseas. So we are now at restaurant Imbi Oversea. And with a restaurant like this, having their fried rice usually tells you everything you need to know. I've said this 1,000 times. You can tell a lot of things from the 炒饭. And the smell coming off this, like 焦香, 蛋香, very strong. They use some long bean and yam. The yam seems to be deep fried first. Anyway. Always a joy eating a masterclass 炒饭. I cannot show you the fragrance of 蛋香 and 焦香. Although if you look carefully, perhaps you can see the browning on the rice grains and the streaks of egg indicating that it has been fried in oil. That's why both the fragrances are so strong. But what is clearer is, in 炒饭we always talk about 粒粒分明. And look at this rice grain just fall off the spoon. They don't want to go together. This means that the moisture control, the amount of oil, and the frying technique are just masterful. People always talk about wok hei in fried rice, right? What is the wok hei that you're looking at? It's all vapor. And when you control the amount of moisture in the wok coming off the rice well, you get this really satisfying taste of fried rice. On top of that, the texture game is just very satisfying. You have yam, which is soft. You have the crunchy green beans. You have the lili fen ming rice. You have, I believe it's garlic and shallot chips that they mix into the rice that is really hard to spot. But it's very obviously crispy. The texture as you put a spoonful of rice in, right, is like jumping into a ball pit. There are no clumps at all. Masterclass! If I were to critique one thing, is that they didn't incorporate a punch of flavor, like, you know, your lapcheong, your jinhua hams, prawns even, something to bring obvious umami. This may be strategic to keep their signature dish vegetarian, although there is garlic and egg, but mostly vegetarian, so that more people can share this as this is the staple. Let's move on to the next dish. I don't even know what this is called. I wanted to get their char siu and sour, which are their signature, but they sold out. So she recommended this to me, something that's off the menu. And it's definitely off the menu because what am I looking at? What am I looking at? Blatantly fried garlic, whole garlic, not even peeled. I have never seen this served before, not even in bak kut teh. And then we have deep fried curry leaves with deep fried, I think this is pork. Let's give it a go. The juxtaposition of the restaurant decoration next to this garlic mats really tells the story. The concept of frying whole garlics, not even separated, is so blunt and not effective. The garlic is literally fried. There's still a little bit of a bite to it. And frying it this way with all the skin protecting it, it does not lend a lot of garlic fragrance to the pork itself. Not to mention, of course, it's very messy. But, like I said, the juxtaposition, the execution of the pork is really high. The fry on it makes the exterior really light and crispy, but inside, if you zoom in, it is still tender and juicy for such a thin piece of meat. You can see from the outside, it's probably a wet batter, so they really nailed the deep fry on this. So like I said, I can totally see like a very competent chef, like at the end of the day, right? Just, I'm so tired. Just whack something together, put it on rice and call it a day. Recipe written by a home economics student, cooked by a master chef. For the last spot of the video, the best thing I ate in KL on this trip, I had it at Nasi KERABU Moknak Pantai Dalam. Nasi KERABU, directly translated to rice salad, is an iconic rice dish from Kelantan. As soon as you are within 50 meters of the stall, you are greeted by the smoky aroma of the grill. You join the queue, choose your protein. I went with daging and lemak bakar, and then point and choose whatever else you want to add. And let me tell you, now we are playing. You might be thinking, Eldrick, what is a KERABU? It is this thing on top, the herb salad, which I see some coriander, some shredded cabbage, but more easily understood is that we have grilled steak, what looks like skirt to me, and grilled beef fat served with rice, sambal and keropok. Come on, now we are playing. Let's get some beef fat, some sambal, mix it together. This is like a kaleidoscope for your tongue. What taste you want? Sweet, savory, bitter, sour, meaty, spicy. Oh, spicy is not a taste. Everything you want. The KERABU is very herbaceous, like intensely so. You feed this to a coriander lover, they will implode like a pacifista. So it's a promise. It's a promise that despite this herbaceousness, right, it will match it with the amount of flavor on the plate. The marinated grilled steak and the grilled beef fat. Wow, this is steak lovers, you all know what I'm talking about. Look at this, look at this. Look at this and tell me you know how this tastes. You put this with rice. By the way, all these are well done steak. Anybody complaining or no?
Oh, steak must only be eaten medium rare.
That harmony between the heavy meatiness and the KERABU, and then you top it with serunding, keropok, the sambal, and there are stuff that I missed out. They have salted egg, which will add a nice layer to it, and they have this like stuffed chili, almost like a jalapeno popper. And of course, they have ayam bakar and kambing bakar, which are grilled lamb ribs. If this and jian tao jian drop into the sea, right, we won't be doing the best curry rice already. Let me qualify that this flavor profile is probably not for everyone. It is pretty intense, but if you buy in, the spectrum of flavors within one plate is crazy. I cannot think of a dish that has so much range. Ooh, lucky I called for help. A big thank you to those of you who sent in your recommendations. Thank you for saving my food hunt and this video. But for now, that's all I have for you guys this time. Next week, we begin our new series, Ba Cao Mi, so make sure you send in your recommendations. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!